Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen Originals podcast. I'm Paul Machin. I am joined by Chris Pager, Chloe Bloxham and Dan Clubb. Yeah, here we are again. Fucking Groundhog Day.
Once more.
We're going to discuss Liverpool losing 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. We're going to look ahead to PSV and West Ham, and we are inevitably going to have to talk about the absolute mire that Liverpool find themselves in, and probably inevitably discuss the manager. We'll get to that. We've got a long old time ahead of us, so strap in, get yourselves a brew. Okay. Before we do, we are partnered with Beer 52 for this week. So here's Steve with some words on that.
Hey everyone, would you like a free case of 10 fantastic Black Friday beers? Of course you would, and our good friends at Beer 52 are offering you just that. Simply go to www.beer52.com/Redmen. Just cover the cost of the postage, and you will get these 10 amazing beers that you won't find anywhere else. Loads of the staff here at Redmen HQ absolutely love Beer 52, and why wouldn't they? Because every single month they send us 10 amazingly unique, fantastic, delicious beers, and that'll be especially handy this winter because there's loads of festive fixtures for us to watch. What better way to watch than with some delicious beers? Your free case will include this exceptional IPA from the Nordic brewing gods Amundsen. It is packing a wonderful 6.5%. It delivers a smooth mouthfeel as well as a flavoursome crisp finish. Yeah, absolutely delicious. Also included is this wonderful Dutch Pilsner at a 7%. It'll absolutely knock your socks off. And not only that, you'll get a silky smooth stout too. If you don't like dark beers, absolutely fine. Just select the light case, and don't forget you'll get some amazingly, wonderfully delicious free snacks too. Get on those bad boys. You can also learn about the fantastic breweries featured in this case with the award-winning Ferment magazine. Even if after all that you're still unsatisfied, you can simply cancel or pause at any time. So that's www.beer52.com/Redmen to claim your free case of 10 award-winning beers. www.beer52.com/REDMEN.
Well done to Steve Hall for that. Thank you so much to Beer 52 for partnering with us.
I do like her old Beer 52 delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want... There was a really obvious joke here, but obviously we need to encourage people to drink responsibly. I'm just saying, absolutely. Yeah, perfect time for a Beer 52 subscription is what I'd say. There is a temptation, right? Because no one really wants to be here and talk about Liverpool and the absolute shit show that our season's become. So there was a slight discussion to just basically play that outfit on a loop before we all got off. But no, look, for our sins, here we are. We've done this to ourselves. So we're going to chat through it and see how we feel at the end of it. Good God. Liverpool have lost again.
3-0 again.
Yeah. They're making a little bit of a thing of that. I don't really know where to start because look, I'll level with you. I'm
running out of energy. Same, Jürgen. You were on to something, lad.
I come so close to recording that video like the other week, by the way, sitting down in a ratty grey jumper and telling everyone that I've just run out of energy. You just carry on without me. I'm a genuinely optimistic human being, right? So I struggle in situations like this, and I always have done, because this is not the first time. This is not my first rodeo, and it's not Chris's first rodeo when it comes to us having a manager that people aren't like totally bought into at the moment, and Liverpool playing really, really poorly. So I hate being the one who has to sit here and go, well, let's talk about some of the positives, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, we haven't got a show if we don't do that, because we'll just collapse into a big hole of misery, and that'll be that. So we will do a couple of the bits and pieces from it, but there's so much to unpick in a wider sense that maybe we won't dwell on the good too much. But I think the universal agreement on this, Chris, because I've seen this said a lot, is I think Liverpool were quite good for about half an hour. I think it was longer than half an hour, But I think...
Well, we conceded 33 minutes in, so if it was 32 and a half that we might have been good for. Because once that first one went in, it wasn't after.
I think the first 2 minutes probably belonged to Nottingham Forest as well, so I think half an hour was about bang on the money, to be honest.
But yeah, Liverpool were all right, and then all of a sudden, they just weren't. And I think people would disagree on certain things. I thought Liverpool were functionally all right in possession for a lot of the game, but the fucking long and short of it is that you can't lose 3-0 at home to Anfield. I think it undoes a lot of the conversation around the good things that Liverpool did.
Well, Liverpool were good for 30 minutes, I thought, until we conceded, and this side right here, right now, don't have a fucking clue what to do when they go a goal behind, and they don't look like...
They've had loads of practice though, Chris.
I know.
They've had loads of practice.
They've been behind for 409 minutes of games going into this one. We were behind for about 610 all last season. So comparatively, they've had loads of practice. They're still not good at it. Yeah. And like, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You know, and Liverpool have been shite. And when they go behind a goal, their heads drop and they don't look like they've got the belief to get back into the game, and that's the problem. That's the issue for me. You can be fantastic between the boxes. Liverpool were nothing more at either end than fucking diabolical. Like, we should have gone a goal up, we should have probably gone 2 goals up, but 2 of those big chances were in the same move with McAllister, weren't they? Probably our 2 best. So even saying 2-0 at that point, a bit of a push, because one of them goes in and the other doesn't happen. So I just thought Liverpool were really, really pathetic after they'd conceded the first goal, to be honest with you. I think the manager makes silly decisions, stuff isn't working, players look bereft of confidence, like they don't think it's going to work, and that's a really bad situation for Liverpool to be in.
Yeah, it's mad because you wouldn't have expected that game, I think, to be a 3-0 defeat when Liverpool are combining well and passing well and moving and linking up and people getting into the box and people doing the things that you come to expect from it. But it's right, there's a fragility, and look, we know why. We'll bring it up again because we can continue mentioning this. I think there's a psychological issue with the squad that we are very well aware of in the past of the Diogo Jota. Everyone saw Robertson's post-match interview after the Scotland game. Like, this is Andy Robertson, who is, if you had to point to someone in the squad and say who's got mental fortitude within our squad, it'd be
one of the first names on the team sheet.
100%. For him to say that he was basically in a real bad place on his own in his room and then had to keep that hidden from the rest of the Scotland squad in the build-up, probably 4.5 months now on from Diogo's passing, tells you that's there. So I am.
And to add on to that, Paul, that's it on internationals, you see. Yeah. That's not treading the same ground that you tread with Diogo Jota. Yeah. You know, it's going to be to the power of 2 difficult, to the power of 3 more difficult, isn't it, when you're actually in that dressing room and stuff. Yeah. But they need, I'm not saying they need to get past it, because I don't think you can, but I think a bit of fucking, I don't know the right words, but like, can you use it? Can you use it? Because they're not. The problem, and I don't know if that's the right thing to say.
That's the problem. It's not a fucking sports movie, and if it was, this great. Put a shrine up in the room, in the dressing room, and everyone do it for that. It's real life. It doesn't work like that. But the problem we've got, as I think it runs beyond that now. You know, there's that, and that is an intangible. We'll never know to the degree to which that is having an impact, and it will affect all kinds of people in all kinds of different ways. But when it comes to then the certain things on the pitch that are just a bit mad, and we said it previously, Chloe, but Liverpool don't look right now like a team that is set up to compete in the league that the Premier League is this season. And I look at Arsenal and I go, it didn't make sense to me in the opening weeks when we took it to them and beat them. Yeah, we only beat them with a free kick, but we really took that game to them, and I thought, yeah. And Arsenal we're just winning things with set pieces. Arsenal look like a complete outfit, and we don't. This reminds me, and some of this is a bit before your time, but this reminds me now of any number of Liverpool teams that I've seen between sort of 1998 and probably Klopp coming in, where there's some good bits and pieces in there, but it doesn't look like a coherent plan. It certainly doesn't look good enough to win the league.
No, it's worrying because I actually don't think we have an identity anymore. I don't actually see what we're trying to do, and if we are doing something and it looks good, it'll work up until a point, and then when the going gets tough, it's completely an out the window, and it's no longer a solution that we can use. I don't know whether it's a mental block or what, but it just seems like players don't want to fight for each other. It feels like they don't want to fight for themselves. They don't want to put in the hard yards. It feels like there's a lack of motivation. Like the managers having no motivation on the players. The players aren't motivating themselves. I mean, Dom Szoboszlai can try all he wants to try and make everybody else raise their level. No one's going to try and match him, because right now, for whatever reason, they're all lost. And that is just how I feel. I feel like Liverpool's lost. I feel like the players on the pitch are a little bit lost. I feel like the manager's lost. And I'm not really sure where to go or how to improve, because I think it gets worse before it gets better. And right now, I don't see it getting better at any point, because the fundamentals that you need to even challenge and compete in a Premier League game of football, they're not even there for a long enough period that you can stay in games of football. If teams just come to Anfield or play us and want to be physical, it feels like we just aren't up for the fight. I mean, I don't want to single Cody Gakpo out, but there was 2 50-50 challenges, and he jumped out of absolutely both of them. Yeah, and it's like, lads,
that was a bad one. That
it's been happening for a while,
really
that
bad.
sort of thing as well, hasn't it? Like, that's my biggest problem. There's loads of problems at Liverpool right now. You can go deeper into the tactics of it and the minutiae of decision making and systems and whatever. It is the fundamentals. It is not doing the basics right. And wanting to earn the right to play, because if we are talking about the Premier League being physical and being a little bit more, certainly sides like Nottingham Forest is going to come and stick it on you. You've got to stand up to that, and we're not. We're shirking it. We're folding in the face of adversity every single time, and we're not battling. Because look at the flip side on the weekend, because you're right, I think between both boxes we were okay by and large, but then the ease with which Forest score all their goals, and I'm jumping ahead, there's nobody really laying a glove on anyone at any point. Whereas on the other end of it, when we're creating opportunities, they are throwing their bodies on the line, left, right and centre, and we have got none of that pride, none of it whatsoever. It's just far too straightforward.
You look at where our midfielders are when the goals go in, maybe the second one, I think, for them. Gravenberch maybe behind the ball and stuff like that. Elliot Anderson's heading it off the line.
Exactly.
And there's two others with them in the back four.
But
and
the
ours are
desire,
just
the
on the edge
willingness
of the
to get
penalty
back
area.
in and stop it happening. We've got none of that right now.
We have built a team, and I said this to you before, and I did it on my post-match article. We look so back end of Arsene Wenger's term as Arsenal. We look very post-Highbury Arsenal. We look very post-Invincibles Arsenal, where it's gone, oh, look at all these great footballers. Imagine this vision of this wonderful football we're going to play. Going to get all these skillful lads in here. And look, when it's working, it's fine. If people are sticking the ball in the back of the net, honestly, it just wouldn't be an issue. But the problem is that sometimes that happens. You can hit a cold streak in front of goal, and Liverpool have very much had that. You've not even got that covering up any of the sins of the other stuff going on. I think Gravenberch is a terrific footballer, and a month ago we were talking about being the best midfielder in the Premier League. It's funny how things can kind of change. I thought he was okay in the game. I thought he was the worst of our midfielders. I thought Jones was all right. I thought McAllister was all right. I thought Szoboszlai, whether he played everywhere and was all right as a result. Cool. But where are the warriors in our team? Szoboszlai stands out like a sore thumb because he's got this amazing engine. He'll cover every blade of grass for you. He's a winger. He's a winger that we've turned into a box-to-box midfielder and then pushed to right back. His work rate sticks out because it's not being matched by the other lads on the pitch. Yeah. But the thing is, it's so when things are going for you, all these lads are great for you. But actually, when it's not, who in that squad loves defending? Who? It's Konate should, but I've got no idea. Well, I know exactly what's going on with him. His head's in Madrid, quite clearly. Virgil van Dijk, I don't know if Virgil van Dijk loves defending. This is no critique of him. I think criticism of him this season has been really over the top. I think he's had a good season for us, but he's supposed to be this tower of power while everyone else does all the really intense physical stuff around him. We're playing a midfield, a winger at right back. Kerkers, I think he gets hung out to dry. I've not got anywhere near the issue with Kerkers that people have, but he's a wing back type defender more than an actual defender. McAllister's a 10. that we play as an 8, sometimes play as a 6. Curtis Jones, winger, 8, turn box to box. You know, go through it all. Wingers forward. We've got no one in there who just loves putting one on someone. And then you inevitably end up the conversation of going, Wataru Endo.
Yeah, he's the one.
Fuck me. Like, yes, his attitude and his endeavour, but he's not good enough. So the lads who do it are not good enough to be in the team. So he's left with just continuing to throw really talented footballers and hoping that the skill outweighs it. But when it's going wrong, you need to get in the trenches. And I don't think we've got a team that wants to be in the muck and the trenches to turn things around. That's my
that's just fight for me. I don't think you need to be an outstanding defender to be able to go around and fucking leg it and try and get the football back. You can McAllister at times when he's playing really well has that desire to go and get the football back. I've not seen it this season. Gravenberg has the desire to go and get the football back. I've not seen it this season. All of the players you've listed have shown me over the course of whether they've been there longer this season or not that they'll go and get the football back. They're not doing it this year.
Yeah.
That's the problem for me. Not that they are built to be defenders or not, although I would like someone who's in the squad who does want to do that. Yeah. But they've proved last season they can go and get the footy back.
Yeah, true enough. But it's like an overall ethos. We used to laugh at Evertonian players like how many times like Tom Davies and Jack Rodwell and Ross Barkley get sent off because their fans wanted them to be these dogs of war, and they were cultured footballers asked to do a job that wasn't their thing. And Liverpool really need to go to that. And you know, it's all well and good saying Cody Gakpo needs to put more of a foot in. He does, but these things are not first nature to too many of these footballers. Is my concern. I think they're all thinking someone else is going to win this back, and I'm going to get down the other end and score. And there's a collectivism that's lacking, and you can all be better at it. But that's my fundamental fear is I just don't think it's in the nature of too many of this squad. Talking about before, Diaz had it in Spain, Milner used to have it, Henderson used to have it, Fabinho had it. Gini Wijnaldum was a winger that we converted to be a midfielder, but he was rock solid in all the stuff that he did. And yeah, it's
I agree,
lacking.
but if you're going to what was Goodison Park, the players who I'd be like up for it would be McAllister and Curtis Jones, and two of them are midfielders. And I expected two of them.
Robbo would be up for it as well.
Would be up for it. And there's two of those midfielders who I went, yeah, you play them because what they'll do is they're clever. They'll absolutely love a crunch and tackle. They'll fight for everything. They'll get little fouls here and there from just being little shithouses because that's what you can do in those games. The problem is that for me, our midfield so flat-footed by the time they've even tried to get to a player, someone's passed them. They're non-existent. And those goals against Forest the other day, the third one, I mean, look at the winger just absolutely wanders, literally waltzes through.
They switch off because there's a sub being made.
Ball, but then it's so easy for him to get in between. I think it was Rio and Robbo. Yeah. But then Alisson makes a good save, and all of our midfielders are just stood there like
Gravenberg on the edge.
Yeah. And this is again
Gakpo on the edge, looking at it, going, "Oh, better run here," just to make people think I was going to get the football.
Someone's already there making the movements, and Liverpool players. There's about 4 of us stood there doing nothing but ball watching.
We've said it for weeks. We're seconds of everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
There's a bunch of lads there again because they're all waiting for someone else to take responsibility and taking responsibility themselves. You know, you see it because they all go, well, we'll have it. It's 11 aside, 5 aside. Everything's going your way. It takes a lot to go, actually, no, we're just going to dig in and have this not be any worse. Everyone wants to be the one, go on, get it down the other end and it's going to go. Yeah, they're all... I mean, I don't know. I mean, and so it's not wrong when we talk post-match about, like, you know, you can't really bring defenders on when you're losing 2-0 and you're chasing the game. And I kind of get a sense of that. But we're now... I've seen a lot of this, like, Einstein repeating the same thing and expecting different results as you know, all that kind of stuff, which is always, I think, is overused at times because I think there's a variety of different ways in which we're fucking things up this season. But the thing that's not working is this idea of, like, throwing a ton of attacking lads on and hoping that it all comes good. That's on the manager. Was it United where we did that and then
you know, we had no defenders when we got level.
Once we equalised.
2-2.
Yeah, because
Last season, yeah.
No, this season.
Oh, no,
we did
so-
similar.
We threw all the strikers on. We got the equalised, didn't we?
Yes,
and then they scored.
1-1.
Yes.
And we did do that.
But
the
last
the best
season-
case scenario.
Yeah.
That's when we got back into the game, and then we were like, oh shit.
But wasn't it
Crystal
last
defenders.
season where
Crystal Palace
everyone
this
was like,
season
we've
was the
got
same.
back in the game, and then it was like, right, can we get some balance to the team then? And obviously that's one game of an entire season where you are allowed to do things like that. But last season, I feel like we'd got the lead and we all just wanted a bit more stability. We wanted another midfielder on, but we didn't do that, and then they went and equalised. Where, I mean, I'm seeing that, like, aside from us actually getting back into games at this moment in time, it is just lumping every attacker on that we see on our bench and saying, let's hope to go. I mean, putting Rio on the other day.
Smacking desperation.
But, like, Rio did all right when he came on. I was
felt sorry
actually
for him,
like,
actually, right?
well, in lad, you're actually trying to do something. But, like, why are you putting that on a young kid? When you're putting a young kid to bail you out of games, it's
But I think,
hard.
but then this is the knock-on impact of it all. Rio Ngamo vanished from the team.
Exactly.
He's come into it. He's looked really, really good. He's causing problems when he comes on the pitch, and then he vanishes for weeks on end. And now this is the problem. You know, good managers should be keeping lads like that out of the firing line, because you don't want to run the risk of ruining him and lumping him in. I remember Graham Souness having like calls from the stands to like get Fowler into the team, and he basically said, I'm not going to ruin Fowler by putting him in with these bunch of dickheads, like, you know, and. That you do have to be careful with that, but he should have been in every week. It should be much more of an established thing, and that thing of just it's just fucking obvious. You've got no one there to get the ball forward. No one knows where they're meant to be, so you've got no fluidity. You're back to Hail Mary week in, week out. If he believes in the system, then change the players in the system. And you can tweak it slightly. You know, Klopp used to have. He eventually worked his way to 4-3-3. Eventually, it took a few seasons for us to get there, but we still won a few games by going to 4-2-3-1. A couple we started, a couple where we break. You know, Divock Origi come on the left hand side, and we'd have four up front for that. But like, I mean, he said in the post match, I tried to go to 3-3-4, mate. All right, cool. Did you? Because it just looked like Virgil van Dijk, like in front, because that, if you want to call that a formation, all the best, mate. You know what I mean? Because
my concern is that like the players stop believing in the manager's message, and I think, you know, I said the same when, you know, recently, not that long ago, with Amorim at Manchester United. There's a point where people just think we've tried this now and it's not working, and I think in game Liverpool going and throwing 4 forwards on 6 out of the last 7 weeks, and us losing 6 out of the last 7 games, they're looking around going, again, boss.
It's actually got worse.
Fucking really?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
And that might have
That's a
been
worry.
a lot was read into, and maybe, you know, accurately so, about Konaté's reaction to his substitution. But maybe it was the fact that he was coming off of a striker. To your point there, where he's gone, "Oh, we're doing this again, are we?" As if to imply like, "Yeah, this doesn't work. We've done this time and time again." And I think to as well as what you suggested in terms of like players potentially stopping listening or stopping sort of taking on board what the manager was saying. If Saturday's response in the second half is anything to go by, that's happened. Because to go in at 1-0 down, somewhat fortuitously in my opinion, because I believe we should have been 2-0, because I don't see what's wrong with their second goal. I just don't see it at all.
Same.
So to go in, having been okay for half an hour, as we all agreed upon universally, to then come out and deliver that second half is just a disgrace.
When did we stop being better in second halves of football? I mean, this season's the answer, but you know, like, but for why? Because it goes back to my thing. Half an hour, whatever. That first half, I've seen much worse first halves from Liverpool in games that we've won far really convincingly as well. Yeah. We were okay. I thought the structure was good. I thought actually, yes, it was like right back, but I thought him, Jones and Salah linked up really well down the right hand side. Lo and behold, Cody Gakpo played one overlapping pass to Kerkez, which was a fucking revelation. He went to the byline. Okay, he then cut in when he got to the byline, but
got a bit of joy, I thought. Gakpo.
McAllister was arriving and again gets his shot because he's gambling in the right situations. Yeah. There was structurally loads of things that were going really all right, not really well, but enough that cool. That you're getting joy, stick with it, add to that. But it's just this. I think there's a bit of fear. I get that, and you know, and we keep doing this like this Hail Mary shit. Just make a little change. Put Ngamo on for Gakpo and just see if he can get a bit more joy out of that flank. You know, bring Cage on, sure, but again, you don't need to just.
Everybody's in everyone's way.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no space for anybody once he does that. I mean, because you're putting Kaiser on, but you're also putting Ekitike on. But then you're putting Rio on, but then you're telling everybody else that you're moving Sobbo more into the midfield to tell him to get further up the pitch.
Doesn't know where he's playing no more.
Honestly, it is all. I'm sorry, but it's like he just doesn't have a clue. And that is worrying, because if we are literally lumping attackers on and saying, let's throw shit at a wall and hope it sticks at some point. And you can go back, we were doing it at the start of the season. We were just coming out with wins.
Yeah, but it was sticking. Yeah. And maybe that was covering over.
But again, look at what Arsenal were doing. Again, we were laughing, set piece FC. They found a way to win while they were waiting for things to come together. And we were, grabbing things by the skin of our teeth, surviving, getting wins and getting through, and then it was meant to click. And again, there has to be sympathy. Again, the emotional side of things, wild changes in personnel that they've chosen to do. Again, that kind of is what it is. We couldn't make. We have changed too much now. I think it's easy enough to say that. But I don't know. Should we just talk about the manager?
Yeah, because can we start off by saying on the 20th of September we had 15 points and we were top of the table, and it's the 24th of November and we have 18 points.
It's mad.
And we're 11 behind top.
My biggest problem:
3 points in 2 months and 4 days.
6 defeats in 7 is.
6 defeats in 7 is disgraceful.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
Disgraceful. And no improvement, by the way. If anything, it's gotten worse.
I think that was, to quote the title of the show, that was the worst one of the lot. Really? That's as bad as it got. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, at home, that second half in particular. That was
no fight,
inexcusable,
and the atmosphere changed at the weekend for me. Yeah, the atmosphere in that ground changed by the people who go every single week.
The problem I've got with the current manager, and I look, let me get to it. I said last season, I don't really like his brand of football. I don't think it really suits us as a fan base and Anfield. But he's doing something that, if the net result is Liverpool win major trophies, then we'll all get by and we'll all go, cool, fair enough. And honestly,
I used to say that about Mourinho.
Yeah,
I would happily watch Mourinho football if it meant I was winning everything.
But the thing is, that's an extreme example.
It is, but if I was winning everything, I'd be fine with it, quite frankly.
Friggin' 7 points.
I know.
Come on, you know what I mean?
I think, no. I mean, cool.
Also, I do have a soft spot for him as well.
Fucking no chance. Absolutely fucking no chance. But the point is that what he does only works if he's going to win games and win trophies. Yeah. And if it's not, there's not a lot to get your teeth into there. There's not a lot to get behind, because we're not thrilling. We don't get the blood, but we're not a blood pumping side anymore. And the issue as well with that is it's very hard for him to win the fan base over. I really think, and I don't have a great affinity for Arne Slot, I'll be honest. I think, again, he's delivered Liverpool a title, and I'm eternally thankful for that. We all should be. But look, let me level with you. I've got a lot of shit going on in my life. I don't have that level of attachment, and he's not Jurgen Klopp, and he's never going to be Jurgen Klopp, and Jurgen Klopp's gone. He's not going to be Liverpool manager anymore, so fucking whatever. But part of this, I'm concerned, is just me not having that level of emotional attachment to anything, because it's just not that important. So I'm going to have to be careful how I talk about this, because I don't want to just say it's all shit when it's actually me that's the problem, not him. But he doesn't thrill me as a man or manager. So I don't feel that need to go the extra mile to defend him the way that I've done to previous managers. No. I supported Brendan Rodgers more, because at least I felt like he was trying to. He tried. He failed, but he did try to engage more with the fan base. He'd understand the role a little bit more. I think about I went down to a protest. I think we played Porto in the Champions League, and Rafa's was rumoured that they were going to, Hicks and Gillette were going to sack him, and 2,000 people turned up spontaneously outside Anfield before a Champions League group stage, and there was that famous gilded gold leaf frame of Rafa, and we all turned up and protest. I turned up, but drove to Anfield, protested, and drove home, watched the game on the telly, because I felt that passionately about Rafa. Bawled my eyes out several times with Jurgen Klopp as manager. And maybe it's just an age thing and a general fucking depression about life thing. I don't know, but I worry for him, because I'm normally the very glass half full on all this thing, and if I'm not feeling it, I worry that the people who need more winning over are not feeling them. So he's got I don't know how much credit he's going to have in the bank for how long is my worry about the manager. Anyone else?
You can't keep losing games, quite frankly. Listen, my life experiences outside of being a football fan have led me to believe that I think Liverpool will probably give him time. And I think, if I was in charge at Anfield, I wouldn't sack him because of my life experiences, the Diogo Jota thing, what that is doing on a human level to people. But if someone sacked him tomorrow, as a football fan, I'd be like, yeah, I totally fucking understand why you've done that. You've lost 6 out of 7. There's no improvement anywhere. The team look lost. And so that I can totally understand that. Will FSG do that? I don't know. Will whoever's in charge of it? I don't know. I would, as I say, if I was in charge, I would give him the time, but I don't think what he's doing is anywhere near good enough for our standards. Nowhere near good enough for our standards. And it doesn't look like the players are fighting on the field. And that quite often is a reflection of the manager. I wouldn't be surprised to see someone be a fall guy very, very shortly. And I think that fall guy is Aaron Briggs. Because something has to change. Someone is going to have to get some kind of, oh, sorry, mate, it's your fault. Bump. Yeah. Liverpool have conceded 9 goals from set pieces in the Premier League so far this season and scored 1 themselves. Yeah. That is not a good look. And again, it's a set piece that changes the game at the weekend. It's another corner and it's another goal we conceded. So it wouldn't surprise me if the manager decides, I've got to find a scapegoat here.
Well, get a new set piece coach and he just goes, lads, can you just be more alert to second balls? And you go, oh my God, finally. That's what he wasn't saying. Yeah.
I would feel somewhat sorry for Aaron Briggs, would that to be the case, because he isn't actually a specialist. But he was given the job. Particular field. It's not his forte. He was given the job of individual training coach and he's sort of been handed the set piece assignment. So, yeah, maybe I would actually, if we were going to go down that road momentarily, I think Giovanni Broncourt might be potentially on the chopping block at some point.
Get Johnny Eitinger back.
Get Johnny Eitinger back. He's God knows a free agent. Yeah. Just before I sort of give you my 2 pence worth on it, I don't think you'd be alone in your thinking sort of like the emotional attachment isn't there to Arne Slot. I don't believe it is for a lot of Liverpool fans, and that's fine in a lot of guises. But I think
the manager of Liverpool should be a spiritual leader in some regards. It sounds fucking stupid, and there'll be fans of other clubs who don't get it. Maybe fans of Liverpool who don't get it. But honestly, the manager is our best player. You know what I mean? We hold the manager up above any player that we have on the pitch, and you want to hang
off every word the Liverpool manager says. Roy Hodgson was the one where I used to turn the television off, and that was the first manager I'd ever done that for. Sorry,
it's all good. As for where he's at, he has to start turning it around. There are no signs right now that he's capable of doing that. I tend to agree with you in terms of the players look like on the evidence of Saturday that they've sort of given up hope that he is the right man to do that particular job. As for sort of the hierarchy and the up above and what they might be thinking, I think they'll give him more time. Yeah, I think they'll give him more time. I think they'll allow him to sort of try and fix the issues, which are plentiful. I think the bottom line for them will be Europe, and is the Champions League for next season on the cards. And if it's not by way of winning the Champions League, say we get knocked out at some point, who knows when that might be, and if the top 4 is, a dream or simply not on the table, then I think at that point they pull the trigger, because the expenditure in the summer means that a season without Champions League football is just unviable next year, I believe. So I think that would be the tipping point for them. And as for my own sort of take on it, I struggle to see him being our manager for the long term anyway. I really do, and I kind of always have as well. I've just got this real sort of sense that all is not well right now. And I can understand why. There's lots of explanations as to why, but
it's you mentioned the Roy Hodgson thing, but I'm loath to make comparisons to Roy Hodgson because it is completely different. And Roy Hodgson was just never a suitable manager for Liverpool. Never should have been given the job. But he was the similarity for me is I think Hodgson came in and was like, this is who I am and this is what I do, and I'm going to come and do this, and I've been hired. You've hired me, so you've hired me to be me. And I think Slot has a little bit of that to him of like, I'm going to come in and this is the way that I'm going to do things. And again, it goes back to like the I don't think he wants to engage with the city and the fans beyond being the manager of the football club. And I just think, and maybe football's not like that anymore. Maybe Klopp was the last of his breed, and because he was the exceptional example of it, of someone who wants to be a bit more. And I know we did all the Paisley from Shankly stuff, so it is possible to not be a huge gregarious character who's a great orator and holds the city up on the shoulders kind of thing. It is possible, but in the wake of the stuff that the squad have gone through, I do wonder whether you need someone who's a bit more like that, just someone who's like you can look to and go, oh, he's got it. Even if it's like Klopp, who then goes home and cries his eyes out to his wife at the end because he keeps it behind. Sorry.
The thing is, if you are going to be that guy and you're not going to sort of immerse yourself in everything else that goes around off the pitch,
you've got to keep winning.
Yeah. You've got to win and win and win and win and win, because the minute you don't, that's when these sort of conversations start to happen in the stands, in sort of scenarios like this. Like, you just have to relentlessly win. And that's what he did last year. And we all sat around and said, maybe this is what we needed. Maybe we need somebody with less emotional attachment, just came in, ruthless winner. That's
less
what we
emotions on a game by game basis.
Just looked at every single decision in a cutthroat, business-like manner. Football, all that matters, all I care about is winning games and winning trophies. And we all kind of said, all right, we're fine with that. But the minute that stops, and my God, has it stopped, then you can start questioning it.
And and it goes back to the thing of, you're right, it's tough because we're going to get asked loads of questions. People probably asking them in the comments, and you get variations on if they are when would you say, how's it got to go? And for me, I've got no idea. Like I wouldn't, but only because when it all boils down to it, I'm at a stage in my life where Michael Edwards is the guy who's responsible for all of this. He oversees the whole, oversees Liverpool. I trusted him when he was the director of football. He'll make a decision at some point. And if they decide it's time for him to go, then I'll probably go. Okay. I have not agreed always when Liverpool have let managers go in the past. I certainly didn't agree with getting rid of Rafa Benitez at the time. I thought he deserved another season to get it right. I thought Brendan, I was really pleased with how decisive they were, although they probably could have been more, but it worked out for the best because it timed really well with Jurgen Klopp becoming available, so kind of is what it is. But there's, they pay attention to a lot of underlying stuff that we aren't even privy to. It's whether they think there's enough there that the results almost are clouding some deeper mystery. I think Paul Tompkins said, look at Klopp's last season at Dortmund. The outside football world went, well, he's fucked it, hasn't he? The Klopp thing's gone. He's done. He's not a good manager. That's it. Everything he's done is everyone's figured him out, and we kind of had to deal with that in the early seasons as well. Of him going, oh no, Klopp's thing doesn't work in Liverpool, doesn't work in England. Everyone knows how he's going to play, and then eventually he got it all working. But the sell to Klopp was, matter of fact, it was in game, wasn't it? Who basically said, you should have won this and you should have won that. And he said, did you watch the games? He went, no, I saw the numbers. And the numbers told me that you were just unlucky. But like massively unlucky over a huge, unfathomable swath of the season. So the question is that what we're going through? I don't know. But ultimately there are people who are much smarter than I am who are responsible for it. I can be annoyed by it and I can be down in the dumps by it all, but it will be interesting if those guys, heads go, they'll just sack them. Because they'll know the true thing. Whereas you're right, it feels mad right now to Liverpool could beat PSV and beat West Ham, and we'll feel loads better about something. And he could well start to turn a corner. Isaac could click and start scoring goals. All these good players that we've got could click, but you feel like you sound like a fucking crazy person saying it out loud because we've lost so many games. It feels like an act of absolute wild faith as a fan to even vocalize that, and that's a really difficult situation because most people don't care to dig into the detail of it. So he's going to be fighting against the growing sense of misery from the fan base and annoyance and anger, as well as trying to win football matches, and that's a very difficult environment.
Chloe, where were you on it all? Because I don't think you said.
I'm with Paul in the sense of I don't actually have a sentimental attachment to the manager. He's gave me some of the best days of my life in terms of last year, and I finally got to see Liverpool win a league trophy in front of my eyes. But in terms of him creating a connection with the fan base, I don't have that. So quite frankly, if he was to be sacked tomorrow, I don't think I'd have any overriding feeling. And if he stays tomorrow, I don't have any overriding. Like I'm very much in the middle of, I think he's in trouble.
And you should, by the way, you're in your early 20s.
Yeah,
you were in the prime of your football.
So the most
life.
connected as you possibly could be, actually, to Liverpool.
And yeah, it's mad because, like I said, I think everyone thought I was slot out the other day from my tweet where I said he's in trouble, and it's the first time I've thought it. But that was me just admitting, lads, there's a change around Liverpool here. Like, the atmosphere has changed. That wasn't me saying he should go. That was me saying, I turned around in the ground and I went to people, do you reckon he's in trouble here? And they were all going, for the first time, yeah. And like everyone had this kind of realisation, and it hit us all that I'm actually fearing for a manager's job. And I was lucky enough to start regularly going the game in the early years of Klopp. So this is the first time I've had this experience inside a ground where I've had a manager. I know, it's sad for you.
But it does, sorry to interrupt, it reminds me of the end of Brendan Rodgers' days. Like the atmosphere.
It's just the first time I've sat inside a ground and gone, I fear for my manager. Like, I fear for what's about to happen. Like, he might be gone. And once again, I don't think there's lots out there. I think Areola is potentially the only one that I'd want, and even then, is it too early? I'm not sure. So I don't have an overriding feeling of, oh no, I want him. I don't want him to go because I've got this attachment to him, like I had with the likes of Jurgen Klopp. But also, I'm not sat here saying he needs to go. I think it's one of them where whatever happens, I think I'll be okay with the decision, which isn't good for him, by the way.
Ambivalence isn't a great feeling to have towards your manager.
And that's why it's so worrying for him. It's like, I should be trying to back you to the tilt, and I've done it. I did it with Trent Alexander-Arnold for the majority of his Liverpool career. Like, I should be finding reasons to back you, but right now, for whatever reason, for the attachment that you mentioned that you feel like you have with managers, I don't have that. And I mean, I get that because it's not like he's tried to connect with the city or the people within the city, and that's fine.
You have to.
That's fine.
And I don't know that I don't also know that he hasn't. You know what I mean? Maybe he has in ways, and it's just because people just aren't. He's not Klopp. He's just not. It's not as noticeable when he. There's not as much people like taking selfies with him at petrol stations. I don't. Because Klopp's the kind of guy who would be bang up for that kind of thing. I don't. Yeah. It's so I don't want to be horrible about it. We've talked about this before, and we shouldn't be. And it's one of the things that I really need to be careful with. People could not want the manager to be managed anymore, but being horrible about it is not how we do things. And I don't mean Redmen, I mean Liverpool fans. Like, I'm sorry, but Roy Hodgson, again, was the worst fit that there's ever been as a Liverpool manager. Totally incompetent. Style of football that was way off anything we were looking for. Didn't respect the culture of the club, the culture of the fans. All those things, spoke in really stupid ways. So I think Slot conducts himself brilliantly, and I think he does get so much of it. But when we wanted rid of Hodgson, we weren't honourable about it. We weren't nasty about it. There's plenty of things you can be nasty about Roy Hodgson, but we weren't. We did it in good humour, and this is modern football, and there's a huge weight of expectation around it that I think social media feeds, that you've got to be angry, super angry about it. And ambivalence is genuinely where I'm at with it. I don't feel emboldened to go to war for him. But I could see a world quite easily where they do just turn it around and it clicks. We score a few more goals and we start winning football games again. And we look back at it and go, oh, it was just one of those. All good managers have bad periods. Pep Guardiola was, Man City was shocking last season. Of course, it's Pep Guardiola, so everyone goes, oh, we know he'll turn it round. The
difference for me is that, it's the Diogo Jota thing. You just do not know what that's doing to A, the manager, and B, the squad. Because I think a lot of things are spoken about the squad. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people talk about the manager and the coaching staff and them going through exactly the same thing as the players.
He's handled that excellently, by the way. Conducted himself around that in such a brilliant manner. Like, credit to him for it. We should say that.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned it's the staff as well, Chris, though, because we were talking to someone, I won't name names, but works with Liverpool staff a few weeks ago, and they're dealing with, they were dealing with the Jota passing. No one talks about the staff, the people who work in the media side of things, and the PR, and all, you know, the departments that would rub shoulders with these things or have to be the forefront of this. You got the passing of Matt Beard, and in addition to that, you know, there's people all over the football club who are grieving in huge ways. So it's not like you've got people bouncing. You can go, okay, it's all right. Everyone's going through it, and
that's the thing. Sorry, when a lot of people have highlighted the new players coming in, but if you're coming into an atmosphere like that and everybody is just down, and I keep mentioning this, Liverpool look lost, and I don't know whether it's mentally, but like it looks like they can't put in that effort. Like, we all know they should, but it's like they physically can't. And when new players come into that and they're scapegoated because of the prices, all of that things, but when you go into an atmosphere and you go on a pitch, there's only so much you can do. And when you're looking around and everyone just looks devoid of any kind of emotion or desire, like, it must also be hard to try and bounce in and do that. It must be. So I like you said there, I think it's, a lot of people have talked about the squad and stuff, and a lot of people have threw a lot of the new players under the bus, which they all should be doing better. But I also think it must be hard for them to go into an atmosphere where it must, like, it just must be hard to get anything out of anybody right now, because that's what it looks like. It looks like there's no motivation, and there's nothing that anybody can say from any corner of Liverpool to actually give them a kick up the arse or make them use anything as a positive. It just looks like there's mentally something there that they can't do.
That's the thing that, like I said before, like I wouldn't sack him if I was the owner of Liverpool Football Club, because I think I'd want to appreciate that scenario. I think that is incredibly difficult. I don't think you can draw on anything other than life experience, whether you've gone through something similar or not. I don't think empathy particularly helps you from the outside looking in this scenario, because I think you run out of empathy when the results go against you, unfortunately, as a football fan. But it's also why listen, if we had these results and Diogo Jota didn't pass, then I would be like, totally, he's not good enough. Like that's the way that I look at it. So have a go at my opinion or whatever, however you want. But sorry, what I was sort of leading on to is it's like, how do you manage that squad? I think about, like, do they just need a manager who has a fresh pair of eyes and who didn't go through that grief with them, or do you actually need that manager who went through that grief with you? Like, I don't know the right answer.
So they just need to go out to the woods. Like, to go to a frozen cabin somewhere together and hold hands and have a massive cry together and then crack on with it. You know what I mean? Just not to be flip over, but like that you're right. We're all in. That's the thing. There doesn't feel like a great deal of collectivism. That must be hard because there's so many new lads, as we said. How are you meant to? It must be really awkward.
You can't get through it together because
you come in having a bit of a laugh and joke, and the lads are all a bit somber, and it's like, what's going on? Oh, we're just thinking about our mate that passed in the summer. Oh, well, okay, well. What you know? It must be
and then there are loads of footballing issues as well. Aside from that, I mean, the fact that our centre forward played 67 minutes and got 12 touches, Chiesa comes on and plays 23 minutes and gets double the amount of touches, 24. Like that's a thing. That's not anything else thing. That's a team thing. What's going on? Why can't we seem to get Alexander Isak into the game?
Well, because we don't know how to get a centre forward into the game, because clearly, I think, again, it goes back to what was the plan. We're trying to move towards something else, and we've stepped back into what we were doing last season, but we're doing a worse version of what we did last season and the season before, and whatever. And that is not feeding a goal-scoring number 9. That is feeding Mohamed Salah, as much and often as you can, and feeding down wide areas. So yeah, you're right. It's a bit just to get back to the sacking the manager thing. One thing that's worth remembering. And it will be interesting to see, because we haven't had this really under FSG in this kind of way, because no one's had this. It's just a completely unique circumstance. I look at like the season after the cup double season, where the legs had just gone in that team, and everyone wanted to be there, but loads of them couldn't, and the whole system collapsed as a result of it. It reminds me a little bit of that. It reminds me a bit of the end of Brendan, a bit of But anyway, in terms of the manager's position, Liverpool historically will wait a season for the right player. So we will run the risk of capsizing a season to get Virgil van Dijk or Kanate at the time, and and countless others that we've done that kind of thing with. So I think anyone who's like, why are they not sacking the manager, or they should sack the manager, I would just say, just chill out, just chill the fuck out a bit, because the problem, this is why fans shouldn't be in charge of football operations ultimately, because we're all ruled by our hearts, which is great for our role within football. If they sack the manager, there's got to be someone better to come in. So they keep Brendan Rodgers, they change his entire coaching staff and give him a fair old crack of it. Spend the money. They also spend money on players that they think they should be buying as well to hedge the bets a little bit. And then, handful of games into the season, Klopp's available. Right, cool, there you go. There's just no point in sacking Arne Slot if you're going to turn into Manchester United and just have this constant churn of getting a bunch of guys who haven't got, the squad's not built for them, you're going back to square one, etc., etc. So, again, whether our hearts will survive it and whether the results will allow them to survive this as a football structure, it might just be that they just sit on him for the rest of the season. And, I don't know who that would be. I've got no idea who. Anyone got any idea who? Is there anyone?
In terms of right now, you'd have to try and prize Areola out. But yeah, you're right. The last thing we want is Liverpool to become sack happy and just sack people left, right, and centre. Yeah. We want to the betterment of Liverpool for this to work, because I think that is the ideal outcome. But
it's Wataru Endo syndrome with the greatest. I hate being horrible about Endo. It's not being horrible. He's just not at the level. He's just not at the level. But he's a stopgap solution. You can't. If you're Liverpool can't have stopgap solutions to be successful. We need as many things to go right as possible for us. So
right now you're in interim territory, aren't you? Yeah. Until the end of the season.
And FSG have done that before, remember? And then got it wrong.
Because they got him. They hired him. Yeah. We're just speculating on names ultimately. And
also, I know we were talking about this upstairs and stuff, but obviously Gerrard's name's come up in conversation over the course of the day, and not just with you guys, with other people that I've spoken to and stuff. Could you imagine the Man United fans after giving him till the end of the season, and then Steven Gerrard walks through the door? It's mad.
No, but this is part of my fucking problem.
Nowhere near as good a coach as Slot.
But ultimately, fucking whatever. It's this is the problem. Is we do this because we're worried about being embarrassed and other fans laughing, and we've all got this, but now all the bald Dutch manager things are all coming back out again, and we're having to suffer through all of that. That's half the problem with all this, is all the shit we've given out to fans of other football teams is now being revisited upon us. Fucking Paddy Power making videos about us 3 times a week now. It's fucking really annoying. It was dead funny when it was Arsenal and Man United exclusively, and now it's us. It's football fucking comes back round on you, but we can't let that fear of embarrassment fucking
but they've got to be better than the Slot.
That's the point. Do you think I'm not saying Gerrard's the answer, by the way. But what I mean is, because Man United hired Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the reason not to hire Gerrard. It's because he's probably not a good enough manager to be Liverpool manager. More
I think eventually whoever it was does have to be better than Slot. Obviously, otherwise, what's the point? But I think that the season could reach a point. We're not there now, in my opinion, but it could reach a point where you are just better off allowing Slot to leave and bringing in somebody who will just bring in something, a feel-good factor. And
it's just money, mate. Again, you're not going to bring someone in for the rest of the season, unless it's literally that's the contracted period. But even then, it's Liverpool. It's all got to be. Yeah, I mean, look, they might have to. And they might have to bite the bullet if it continues to get worse. Because as an example, if the Champions League stuff falls apart, then what's the point? You might as well do something different, I guess. But yeah, it's mad. He just needs to win games. Just needs to win more football matches, and this will go away for a bit. But I'm getting real Dejan Lovren vibes about this, and what by that I mean is Dejan Lovren was I know people don't remember it this way, but he was a fantastic centre half for the global level of how good centre halves can be. He wasn't in the top bracket, but he was a Champions League quality centre half. When he was on form, But, you know, look at the role he plays in the goal he scored in the Champions League final in 2018. Lovren wills that to sort of happen. But you know he'll have a bad game or 2 bad games, and the ill feeling towards him just sits there waiting for that to happen. And that's where it needs to turn it around quick, because that feeling's just going to build up, and it's just going to sit there and hang over his head as Liverpool manager forever. Because some people don't, once they've made their opinions on something, don't change them. Yeah. And that's a lot to play against.
I just don't know where you go from here from a Liverpool perspective, because you said there like some wins would, you know, make this go away a little bit. But I also want to see improvements in performances, and I want to actually see, you know, an identity again and where we're heading, because we spent a lot of money and have brought in some world-class players, and you've got to find a system that they fit in, and none of them fit into a single system that we've been playing. So I would like to see, wins will make this maybe go down the road a little bit further, but ultimately I want to see an identity. I want to see what we're going to look like. I want to see improvements. I want to see why was Florian Wirtz bought? Why was Alexander Isak bought? What the hell is Kerkers doing if we're playing him inverted when he's not that kind of footballer? I'd like to see, like, did we like,
who bought them?
Would exactly
be the question right now, recruitment policy wise, because you're right, he doesn't seem to know how to use them. Because we just mentioned a moment ago how Alexander Isak never really got in the game. We spent the British record transfer fee on this lad who's been terrible. I know there's been fitness issues up until this point, but
any game I've not seen us play to his strengths. I've not seen us get him in the game enough.
He's there was one against for that right now.
Was it United? I'm not sure, where Canate does a ball and he's on the shoulder, and that is Alexander Isak for Newcastle time and time again. Or, you know, put a ball in the box, and he's the one who's usually sniffing out where it's going to be. He's great ahead of it. The fact that Liverpool can't get one of the best strikers in world football into a game is mad.
But the thing I can't fathom is we know how to get Ekatike into a game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
but
that
it doesn't happen all the time.
We've lost a little bit of that, I would argue, in recent weeks. I think we did for large part of the early season, but sort of Aston Villa onwards, certainly, I don't think I could see
because we've changed back to
true.
The wingers are the most important players in the team system. We've changed back to what we did last season.
Almost like trying to get Salah up and running.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So we've bought a creative attacking midfielder to link with our goal scoring, you know, number 9/9s. And we'll start Wirtz has been in and out with his own fitness issues as well. You know, would he have started at the weekend? Yeah, probably. Would he have started in the 10? No, he'd have probably started off the left. Maybe it would have worked for, you know, he did all right for Germany in that position in the international break.
But is that why we bought him? Is that his best position? Is that why you spend 116 million on a lad? He's supposed to be a generational talent, and sadly I'm not seeing any of it. And I do believe some of it's on him, but I also believe a lot's on. I just don't get what we're trying to, like, where's he supposed to be? How are we supposed to play? Is everything supposed to go through him? Like, I just don't understand the signings of where they're all going.
That everything's meant to go through him. Where we pick positions up is I think is a kind of irrelevant. You can play off the left or you can play off the 10 or whatever, but it's, again, you're right, he doesn't want to just play him in an 8. Play if you want to play 4-3-3, play him in an 8. If you want, you know, or play whatever, just do it. But there is that thing of Isak and Wirtz haven't been fit at the same time this season for more than 60 minutes of football, probably something like that. Maybe more. I don't know. But you know, so we haven't seen that yet. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's as simple as that. But the problem is, if it's as simple as that, what happens when one of them gets injured? And then you've built your entire. If your entire team needs them to be tipped up to be able to function, that's a problem in and of itself. The whole thing's a fucking mess. It's a fucking mess, and no one has the answer.
Because and everyone's got the same questions as Chloe. Everyone's just looking at it, going, "What was the plan, mate? What was the plan?" Because we all had misgivings, but thought there's a plan, and when we see it, we'll go, I understand the plan.
The fucking brass balls.
Thanks for showing me.
The brass balls to say to Chris Page, I don't play 4-2-3-1, only to basically play 4-2-3-1 and then tell everyone that it's still 4-3-3 is wild, by the way. Absolutely fucking wild. Yeah, he needs to figure it out. It does, because eventually someone will bullet him. The fans' heads will go long before I think Liverpool's hierarchies go, because they think they have a broader picture of it all, but eventually, if you're not good enough to do the job, you're not good enough to do the job.
I could sit here and say I wouldn't sack him, but because of what I've said, I'm not going to repeat myself again. But there are an amount of losses where the owners go, got to.
Yeah.
It's a £5 million business here, and this isn't helping. And this has to change. And no matter how much sympathy they've got, at some point that will be, our assets just dropped $1 billion.
It's mad, isn't it, though?
We're out the Champions League. If we carry on like this, we've got to do something.
What a fucking awful world we inhabit, though, when you think about it. That I know what I presume you said. I don't know whether you definitely felt, but whether you said, I definitely said in the summer, these lads can, case of that. Yeah, whatever comes of this season will come of it, because they've just lost their mate. This is just a world that none of us really appreciate. They're going through something that we can't truly understand. So whatever happens this season happens, and we're here in November, and the worst. And I just think I don't think any of us anticipate. I think we all did that. Like, yeah.
No,
but it'll be fine.
It'll
be fine because we're good. We've got good players. No one ever really went, no, but actually what happens if we lose loads of games of football? Because either you believe in that sentiment or you don't, is where I kind of fall down on it. And that's because
you can believe in the sentiment, but also understand that life is just sadly not like that.
Yeah.
Like it happens. Football certainly isn't, but life in every day, bad things happen to people, and sadly, you're just expected to get on with it. And as time develops, it's supposed to just be something that you deal with.
You are expected
to
get on with it. But how many environments are you expected to get on with it, and then also be the absolute best in class of what you do at the same time? Because people keep going, well, someone died in our work, and we all just kind of got on with work. And it's right. Yeah, it's right. We all do get on. But again, have you got privy to the fucking performance data of your office in that? Were you performing to the fucking same level that you were? I don't know. Again, these. I don't want to feel like I hate feeling like I'm an apologist for it. I'm not. I just think it's mad. This is where we're at. I just think it's horrible ultimately, because it would be. This would just be easier if Liverpool just won football matches, but we're being put into fucking moral quandaries here over our own standards as humans, when really, again, it feels like a lot of noise now, doesn't it? When we're going, well, they can do whatever they want, and then unless they lose loads of games, in which case they can all get fucked. Is that what we're saying? Because it feels like a lot of people are saying that, and it's tough not to feel that way, because ultimately Liverpool form a lot of our happiness on a week-to-week basis.
Not anymore.
They used to, yeah. That's where I come back to it. I think everyone would like to carry that sentiment and sort of see it out until the bitter end. Yeah. But again, nobody anticipated it would be quite this bad. It would be sat in 11th as we sit right. And again, I think FSG, that's why the finances and the brass tacks of it all is where it all boils down to. Because once FSG see that Champions League isn't, because they would have had their minimum requirement would be Champions League football for next season. If that's not on.
Yeah, but they didn't sack Klopp when he finished in 5th.
Klopp had a different
but they didn't
level of credit,
and Klopp literally missed out on Champions League football, and there was no question that he was going to get the boot. And I know because it's there, but that's why I mean if they sack him, it's because they've made the right decision.
Liverpool can swallow a year or two out of Champions League football financially.
Yeah,
I don't think they want to at all. Obviously, Man United are probably the only club that can swallow 5 to 7 years. Yeah. Liverpool can't, and once you're out, it's so difficult to get back in.
And bear in mind,
consistently,
the money that Liverpool have spent. If you look at it, we'll see what happens with PSR and stuff, but you can account for all of that. But there will have been a little bit of it, like, well, we're going to be in the Champions League this year, and you run the risk of absolutely falling off a PSR cliff if your revenues fall off a cliff in the coming year. So be interested to see what they do, and it will ultimately. I don't think it will be as dictated by how we feel about it. I think it will be dictated by factors. It will take a huge amount. Imagine if there's an expectation in football that he should just get sacked now, because I think that's how everyone expects football to go, and I don't always think that's right. I think this idea of a new manager bounce is bollocks largely, and there are exceptions to it. Chelsea have been an exception to it over the years. It's ultimately it will boil down to, do they think Liverpool are going to come good when Isak's fully fit and integrated, which has got to come any day now, really. And same with Bert. A bit like the Chelsea thing. So when they used to bring a manager in and he'd change things, he'd bomb Lampard and Terry and all that out and Drogba, and then they'd be shit in the first half of the season. So they'd bring someone in and he'd go, right, I'll just bring all the old lads in, and he'd get one last squeeze out.
So was that when they sacked Villas Boas and someone else came in and literally did that?
Yeah, exactly. They had a couple of times where they tried to
reboot the Champions League. Was it Di Matteo?
I'm pretty sure it's that. Yeah, they just kept going back to it, and it's like, as a new manager coming in, just gonna pick up the work that was. It's just gonna oversee what was gonna happen anyway. Is the big decision to be made, but yeah, just win on it. Just fucking, it's boring and annoying and. I hate being back here. It's the worst part. Welcome everyone, by the way, if you've only supported Liverpool during the Jurgen Klopp tenure, because fuck me, I can't. Like the conversations about you sack him, but who are you going to bring in? Honestly, I can't do this again. I can't go through this again. I've done it too many times. I've listened to fucking Toffee TV, go through it every year, hear the same fucking questions over and over again. The infighting in the ranks, the sense of fans turning on fans because some people want it all, set fire to it all and start again and blah blah blah. Oh, just win, Liverpool. You fucking gang of absolute meths. We had loads of super chats. Thank you so much to everyone who's tried to join the conversation here. Let's see if we can get through these. Daniel Usher says, it felt like the antithesis of Brighton at home last season. In my opinion, games should never feel done at 1-0, but this one did.
I agree with that.
Hard to argue with, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imran Adam, he says, any chance of you guys offering therapy sessions rather than beer for the people that don't drink? Yes, absolutely. Get a Redmen Plus subscription instead. That'll do you. Simon Mackham, I really want Slot to turn this around, but anyone else getting Brendan vibes? But he's not got a plan to change. It worries me. He's lost the team.
I think we said all of that, didn't we?
Yeah.
In some way.
That is that thing of, we said this is like, if you totally bought into your plan, your overall ethos, like Klopp's overall, you can change the system because your ethos remains the same. It's hard running, high press, getting people's faces, commitment, everyone fights, no one quits is a line that came back to my head over this weekend, and I'd like to hear more of that.
Yeah.
But if you're a tactical manager, are you almost end up galaxy braining things and thinking that a little movement here is going to fix everything? It's a worry.
A little movement of 4 strikers.
Yeah, I know. Early Corey Wright, when you see Virgil van Dijk up top like Maguire,
that winds me up. That I'm like, Virgil, we're really bad defensively. Get back.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Daniel Lavin, the players and staff look mentally broken. A new manager doesn't fix that. At least Slot can relate. I think you made that point, Chris. I agree with that. But also, there is also someone just coming in and going, right,
fresh
everyone.
Ideas.
You want someone to relate or not?
Just change the messaging.
Yeah.
And the mood. And the mood as well.
Rizu, under Klopp, we have moments where results didn't go our way, but this feels on par with the Hodgson days. Hodgson had Konchesky, Poulsen, etc. Slot as well, class players that is disposable. That's the thing, and that's where it works both ways. You're like going, you've got brilliant players, why aren't you winning? But you're also going, he's got brilliant players, he'll probably figure it out because it's almost too good to not. One thing that just came to my mind, I'll probably do a separate video on this in the coming days when I've had time to wrap my head all around it. The last time I did a video about people saying like manager out was Klopp out, and it was in September 2017, and I was like, God, why was that? And I looked at the run of results, and I think we drew, and then we got battered by Man City. It was the game you went to at the Etihad.
Mane got sent off.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And
we drew the first 2 Champions League games of the season. I think we drew against, I can't remember, it was Spartak maybe or whatever. Maybe that's wrong. But we'd had in September, we just had a really mediocre bunch of results, and all the knives started to come out for Jurgen Klopp. And again, we'd been on an upward trajectory, but it's easy to forget that in September 2017, we hadn't all we'd done is get top 4. We'd lost the League Cup final, the Europa League final, got into top 4, and finally qualified for the Champions League by beating Hoffenheim. And then we're there, and then we really struggle. And most people were bought into Klopp, of course, by that point, but there was a lot of noise around his position. We end that season. We make a very significant January purchase in Virgil van Dijk, and we get to the Champions League final that season, and then we're off to the races. it's just a point worth. It's just a point worth.
Yeah.
We're bringing up. Roshi 98. We'll get relegated sticking with Slot, not joking. Did y'all see Thiago talking tactics a couple of weeks ago? I'd even settle for him as interim boss. Now, right, there is no world, I think, where you should be giving someone their first manager's job as manager of Liverpool. That needs to be an idea that we divest ourselves of. However, if you talk about that order, cool fact, Thiago fucking loves the city of Liverpool. Yeah. He threw himself in 100% into it. I would hang off every word that he said because he is one of the most stunning footballers I've ever seen. But look, come on, we should have got him in as a coach. We were still paying him. He couldn't work in Barcelona for tax purposes. We should have just got him on the coaching staff there and then. Anyway, maybe
on the form thing.
Bayern manager, then Liverpool Joe comes up and he ends up as Barcelona manager. Let's just make that perfectly clear.
On the form thing, I think we are like second to bottom in the form table.
We've got
it's really
who's
bad.
Bottom?
Wolves. Yeah, so we've in the last 7, not last 6. I've extended it a game for another loss. We've scored 7 and conceded 15.
Yeah. We've got, I think it's the third, I think it's the
shocking.
4th worst defensive record in the league at the moment.
Minus 2 goal difference.
Yeah,
you know what? I reckon Wolves will be really looking forward to Christmas time when they have to come to Anfield.
The Invader, 978. If Xabi Alonso gets sacked, would you bring him in? I think that ship's sailed.
I agree with that. I think it should sail. But I said this upstairs earlier.
Should have joined us if he really wants.
I think certainly for the time being, who knows what happens in years to come. But I think for the here and now, I just can't see that being a short.
I don't see him actually getting sacked.
We do need a DM.
Thiago may get him in there. I'll just hit these days.
I want to be quick to write him off there, you know. Somebody who can control the game. Like, come on.
Proteshidu, if you take drastic action, what would be the first?
You take the drastic.
I don't know what that is in
first
manager.
What's your drastic action? Maybe is that the question?
Just like if you're FSG, what decision do you make for
Joe
the veterans?
Gomez over Ibu Kanate. That's maybe my first one.
Didn't train all week, Joe Gomez, by the way.
So we stop. We're going to do that.
Okay, sorry.
I think what FSG have been doing is this.
How are the Red Sox getting on there? Ilad
Gerard in, by the way, for that.
Says, give me Xavi Hernandez, formerly of Barcelona. Just Xavi.
Just Xavi.
Just in case you weren't sure.
Just to confuse you.
Former La Liga winner as well, by the way. And will demand more respect from these players. My second option is Cesc
Cesc doing
Fabregas.
really well, isn't he?
Como, they're sort of like upper to mid-table in
I think they were fifth
Serie A.
or something last time I saw.
From nowhere, really. But I mean, Como is beautiful though.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I
also
mean, a former Arsenal and Chelsea midfielder.
True, but I think I'm right in saying I haven't fact-checked myself on this, but he's one of those former Premier League players who's spoken glowingly of Liverpool and Anfield previously. So I think he's got.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a compilation video of him in it.
Sure. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Well,
doing well. Then.
Yeah. The honest answer is I probably would. If it was the drastic action and he had to go tomorrow, I would probably just say to Gerrard, do you want to just take it to the end of the season? Like, I know that will lead to all kinds of Man United fans, but like, yeah, who is the next? There's a bunch of managers out there. I don't know. Again, it's got to be something. You've just got to be something more. I think you can get a bunch of coaches in to do a bunch of coachy things, but I'm a little worried about that whole head coach thing. That I think Liverpool need. I think a manager means more than a head coach. To be honest, I think it kind of a head coach absolves you of having to be more than just the man who takes training. You know.
Does anyone know if Mark Gay still wants to join us?
Can't see it. I think listen again. I say I don't want Liverpool to sack Arne Slot. I don't believe Liverpool will sack Arne Slot either. I think it will be allowed to run its course for some time yet. However, if that was to be a decision they fell upon, I'm with you. I think a finite spell of Gerrard's or Jurgen
That's the one for me.
Would be right until the end of the season. A finite spell until the end of the season, Jurgen or Gerrard, and then you reassess in the summer. You do what you did to get Slot in the first place. You do diligence on all the managers. You run the data, and then you come up with
Iriola.
Or a couple of Julian Nagelsmann post-World Cup potentially. Like, there are conversations to be had around. I do love Julian Nagelsmann, that's true. And there are conversations to be had around a few, I would say. But again, I don't think that's going to be something that happens.
Okie dokie. Right, break time, and then we were going to get back to the reality, which is that Liverpool have got a game of football on Wednesday and then one on Sunday, both of which they really could do with winning. So let's discuss them after this break.
Hey everyone, it's November, and at the end of the month, one of our wonderful Redmen Plus Legend subscribers will be winning these. Yes, they are a pair of goalkeeper gloves, and they are signed by former Reds goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar. He won league titles, he won FA Cups, he even won the European Cup as well. And yet at the end of November, one of you lucky Redmen legends will get these goalkeeper gloves. So yeah, head on over to redmenplus.com, join us as a Legend subscriber, and if you do that, at the end of the month, you'll be in the draw, and this pair of wonderful goalkeeper gloves could be on their way to you.
Hey, welcome back. Hi, thanks for sticking with us. PSV. At least, Chris, we don't have to wait long to see if they can, put things right. That is one thing about losing before international breaks. You have to sit and stew in it. We're now playing twice a week. Forever.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather
7
stew in
games in 22 days, wasn't it? You think that's a lot of losses in 22 days.
Yeah.
How am I going to be after these 22 days? We've had, I don't know, 6 losses in about 2 months. Look, obviously the Champions League I think suits us more at the moment. I think that the style of football, I know PSV are a good side, they were used to winning and stuff like that, but I think we saw with Real Madrid and we saw with Frankfurt that we just get that little bit more space, and with that little bit more space we can be a little bit more clinical and we seem to be a little bit more creative. It's the speed, it's the the power of the Premier League that we're really struggling with at the moment, and it seems crazy to say, but it does feel like we shifted to a side who we thought we were going to compete on the European stage and could stay ahead in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that at the moment, but it might be one of those seasons where the Champions League is just our release valve.
Yeah, the tough thing about this is that I think we can be good in Europe. I agree with that. I think the Europe is definitely much more what this team's vibe. But we need to keep winning because there's now even more pressure on that, because it's all well and good saying, oh, this could come good and all the PSG things, but yeah, look, we need to cement ourselves in that top 8 of that Champions League group. PSV are good. They're killing it in Eredivisie at the moment. I actually think we probably should have beaten them even with our weakened team, though, away from home in the last game of the league phase last season. So we should have more than enough for them. But I've felt that about loads of games so far this season.
Can I just say, sorry, Chloe, loads of people have been talking about, I think we can win the Champions League. The problem I think we've got with the Champions League is there's still fucking loads of English clubs in it. And at some point, I think we're going to have to get past one of them.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes a real struggle.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, for me, the Champions League is more suited to us up until Liverpool concede first, and then I don't know how they will act. And that is my big thing, is that if Liverpool take some of those chances whilst they're on top in that game of football, brilliant. I think the Champions League is well more suited to you. However, nothing gives me any confidence in Liverpool coming from behind in a game of football, having the belief that they can do that, having the confidence to do that, because when they seem to concede, they seem to absolutely collapse. And the weekend was, the biggest show of it. We could have been 2-0 down in the space of a couple of minutes. We were then 2-0 down inside 40 seconds of the second half restarting. So for me, it is vital that, yes, PSV, Liverpool should be beating them. Absolutely, they should. But you've got to earn the right to beat them. You've got to earn the right to play them. And you've got to make sure that you do not concede first, because I don't know what Liverpool will show up if they concede first in this Champions League stage.
I mean, we conceded first to Frankfurt and beat them 5-1.
That's different. They are absolutely horrendous.
They played into our hands that night.
Exactly.
They're wide open. Yeah. And they've left their 2 biggest danger men on the bench, which was some call from their manager.
My point on this more is that, I mean, that was in away at Frankfurt.
Was old.
Yeah, and with also that's their home ground with noise and all that kind of stuff. This is at Anfield, but actually the issue is how would fans cope with that? Because if we go behind the gain, I think there will be a lot of people who go, fuck this. And we joked almost about like the Palace game a few weeks ago in the League Cup of the only thing that kept fans in that ground was the fact that it was torrential rain. And it was easy to stay inside rather than get soaked leaving early. That's going to become an increasing issue. So yeah, Dan, this is the reality. Chloe's not wrong, by the way. We'll see about the squad mentality. It's actually everything now. It's the weight of all the defeats that have gone before that Liverpool are playing against as well as PSV.
Yeah, and this conversation we've just had for the past however long, around the manager, if we go 1-0 down midweek, eyes will immediately turn and conversations will start happening once again inside Anfield as to what that night may spell. Because one thing we do know about PSV, whilst it is the Eredivisie and whilst, we don't really sort of take a lot from that particular division, they will come to Anfield. It's a massive game for them because they need to sort of bolster their chances of getting into that top 8 or even qualifying full stop into the knockout phases. But more, they'll be full of confidence. And one thing we are not right now is full of confidence. So they're going to come, they're going to have a go, they're going to see the blueprint of what's gone before, whilst they may not quite have the tools to be up in your face and physical and run with the same intensity, because that's not quite how it goes in the Eredivisie. But they're going to try and emulate it because it's been done 6 times out of 7 in the Premier League. So, there is a way there of which to hurt us. We just got to be better than that. And we have to draw a line under what's gone before. Arne Slot's spoken about it, Virgil van Dijk's spoken about it. It's time to start taking responsibility. Doesn't matter what competition it comes in, doesn't matter what form it comes in, our performances have got to be better. If we go one behind, we've got to respond or lead from the front. It's just got to be...
There's no side that's more goals change games than this Liverpool side. If you score, we're the best side in the fucking country by a mile. If we concede, we are the worst side at the moment. We are a proper Jekyll and Hyde
that
football.
frailty is mental, isn't it? But quite literally.
And look, the thing it also leads into though is obviously West Ham at the weekend. These are two very, in inverted commas, winnable games of football for Liverpool. But also, I can't help but look now and go, oh, fucking West Ham. Could we not have, same with Forest, could we just played them 3 weeks earlier? We'd have been absolutely fucking laughing against them absolute gang of fucking, open backdoor bums. And now Nuno just seems to have, he's got his feet under the table. So you need to create a little bit of momentum, and this is a good opportunity to do it. Make no bones about it. Anfield, midweek, night game, all that kind of stuff could go for us. But I don't know. Yeah, I also wouldn't put it past us then to go back to having exactly the same problems when it comes around to the 2 o'clock-ish or whatever on Sunday. So it's a massive
2 o'clock-ish is the exact kickoff time.
They're both really dangerous games for me, these two.
I'm so much more worried about West Ham.
I'm concerned about
fucking hell, what a world.
Because you're right, they are, on paper winnable games, but
they're the ones I said I worried about
if you don't.
the most.
Because whilst PSV probably won't pose the same threat as we've been really sort of vulnerable to, again, they keep winning games of footy. They just keep winning games of footy. And if we don't manage to get over the line in this one, then you go into Sunday even less confident than you were before. As you're right, West Ham have had a little bit of resurgence in recent weeks, at West Ham. It's just got problems wrote
honestly,
all over it.
Forest, PSV and West Ham, if all 3 of them are losses, I'm not sure he's our manager.
This is the thing.
It's
mad. That you want to be able to look at it and go, the Champions League needs to be a shining
saving
light. Good luck. You don't need to. We've learned it. You don't need to win that league phase. You don't.
No.
You need to get in the top 8, and there's plenty of football still to be played to make that a reality. But again, you start playing. You're playing against yourself. Every defeat no longer exists in isolation, because we've said this before. You can pep them out through the season, is right, but we haven't. They're all grouped together now, and so you almost need to. We now need to win 2 games this week, and we should be able to, because it's PSV. I know they're top of the Eredivisie, but the Eredivisie is fucking rubbish, and fucking West Ham are a fucking huge basket case of a football club. We should be able to do something, but they always have a way of pulling out mad things against us in that ground. We either batter them or they just, make it
such a poor
horrible. And it goes back to it. We were looking at this run of the easy fixtures.
I said that these were going to be harder, actually, because I said I didn't think Slot had found the answer to what happens when
did you
teams
say that?
become physical against us.
Last week in the podcast.
Well, but my point is more...
It was after we beat Villa and Real Madrid.
Yeah. So my point is more, a month ago when we were going, this is the really hard run of fixtures. Absolutely fucking Big Anges, Forest, and who the fuck was West Ham manager?
Potter.
Yeah, like you'd be giggling at that all of a sudden. Whereas what's going to happen now? It's like every club is going to transform into the most fucking hardened version of themselves as they continue to sack managers.
The worst part about Forest is they didn't need to do that against
No,
us. And they
they
didn't. Like they just wanted it more.
Yeah.
Good God.
But yeah, you're right. This all of a sudden, it'll come good when ... has become it's now another 2 games where we shouldn't be fearful of West Ham at all. We should be dead confident, but yeah, this is where we're at. I don't know. What will we do differently on PSV, if anything? I mean, do anyone know if Wirtz is going to be back for this one?
He'll be back in midweek. I don't think so.
So Gakpo, definitely. Would you? Isak will start again.
Please, on the left for 1 game of football alongside Isak.
Really, are those two? Yeah.
Do you think we've got the Joe? It's like a bit like the Joe Gomez issue with this of like,
if one gets injured, then you're done in.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Will Gomez play?
I don't think it's the same, to be honest, with Ekitike and Isak. I think they'd be more than comfortable just playing Isak and Gakpo if Ekitike's not there, because they've been fine with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been fine with Gakpo and Ekitike up top, so why wouldn't you be fine with Gakpo and Isak?
Do you think he's trying to get Isak up to speed?
I think he's just trying to get Isak up to speed. And that's a conversation, by the way, for me. How long's pre-season for these top players who have massive internationals during the summer? 3 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks, I was going to say.
How long's he been fit for?
About a week.
No,
similar the time now.
I mean, wasn't he injured before the?
He's had a lot of training time over a couple of periods now.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
like we can't keep saying pre-season when pre-season.
Oh no, I don't think anyone.
I said that on Saturday, but I said if he's starting this game of football, that now is that. Now he should be off to the races, and he wasn't. You know what I mean? If he was, he fucking got stuck in the stall.
Yeah. But his issue again, whether we say he's done a pre-season or not, he hasn't. He's done an approximation of a pre-season. And they always do this. Every time a player misses pre-season, I can't think of loads of examples where you are physically in your prime for the season that follows, no matter what they try to do. As noted by the fact that he's already picked up another injury since that period. I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure it'll come good. And if he's fit, he just needs to play now. You just play him and
can someone play him the ball, please?
Yes, that's Ekitike is the only issue, because if we are going to do the Ekitike left Isak central thing, which we haven't done really yet, certainly not from the start of the game, I don't think.
It was like 3 minutes in Frankfurt, and then Ekitike miscontrolled the ball and went off injured.
Yeah, so it can't be like we can't just go with Isak forever because Ekitike is suddenly not playing.
That's my thing about the Joe Gomez situation, is like, if the idea is that Ekitike's there to understudy Isak up front more than anything else, if you start them, you can put Gakpo on the left, but then he doesn't want Chiesa on the pitch, clearly, ever. No. So then Chiesa's back to being the understudy for Isak, which is no bad thing. If he has to play him more, then we might find that things work out a little bit more, because he's quite good. But yeah, it's a mess. None of us knows. No. I mean, at least it's interesting. Remember, we used to sit here and go, here's what the back four is going to be, here's the midfield, here's the
issue when the manager doesn't know his side now. What the hell's going to happen when Salah goes?
Oh, God.
And I think that's an opportunity, to be honest with you. But like, it does make you think, if you don't know your side now, what are you going to do when the lad who plays every single minute of every single game disappears?
Teams historically tend to get better when you take the best player out. We're fucked by all accounts when that happens, but you never know. We might look into something that actually does work.
As for Gomez, as I mentioned, he didn't train all last week, seemingly, therefore wasn't able to start the weekend, which is ring strip.
Right back or centre half if he's fit?
It depends.
Has to play centre half, I think.
So you're putting Dom right back again?
No, I mean, you can do something different.
Can I just say something? Apologies for this, because I've had a lot. I didn't go to the game, so I've had a lot of lonely thoughts on the football over the weekend. When Slot's there going, our right backs are out injured, I am totally bought in on that until the camera panned during the game to Calvin Ramsey. He sat on the bench, and I saw him play right back through the week, and he was really good.
He was brilliant.
He was the only good player.
Well, he is literally a right back.
He's literally a right back.
That's what he does.
So, and I know there is this whole idea.
The first time he's in the squad since then. Or has he been in squads?
Probably.
That's the first time he's been in the squad because he played in the Palace game, obviously, and there was a big clamour for him to feature that weekend. I can't exactly remember why. Now, he didn't because he wasn't fit enough to, but
and then Bradley's been great since. Bradley been great.
Yeah, Bradley was good for a couple of games. Yeah, injured. Calvin Ramsey's clearly fit and available, not used.
And this is the thing, and I know it goes back to the thing of like having a problem with your squad and who fits in where. Having to move Szoboszlai to right back makes you go, oh, okay, well, at least I don't have to worry about McAllister, Jones and Gravenberch and who plays or whatever. It's like a solution to getting them all in. Don't have to solve that problem for a bit, but yeah, just...
There's no intensity in the midfield.
But again, what happens when all those 4 lads are starting? That's your 4 midfielders. What happens when you then need to freshen things up later on in the game? Calvin Ramsey might be fucking rubbish. He just might be. It probably is because he's had loads of loans and I know he's had loads of injury issues, but no one's been talking about Calvin Ramsey.
I'm willing to find out.
We've seen before, though, that sometimes just playing players in their position does actually fucking work.
And even if it doesn't help Calvin Ramsey, it might make us better in the midfield because Dom's in the midfield, and that might actually help you out.
We saw it when the year we lost all our centre backs, and we went with Fabinho and Henderson. Lo and behold, we got Fabinho back into midfield, and we just looked a better team for it. With 2 lads who, with all due respect to both of them, weren't elite level Premier League defenders. Got proper centre backs back there to do a centre back thing, and everything was okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree on that. And so for me, again, Slot says, well, Gomez has only played 2 games this season. Like it's like, well, I've been inherited this problem. It's like when a fucking sitting government tells you that there's a load of these fucking problems. Like, yeah, because of you. Yeah. You've made these problems, mate. And I know this. I think it was definitely not publicised enough that he did say in his press conference that he hadn't trained, enough in the week. So that's why he's not in contention, perhaps for the weekend. But you've got to play Gomez because, to the point, Canate, whether his head's in Madrid or whatever. And my dad said this when we started this morning to me. He's like, he's playing like a lad who's got no competition for his place.
Yep.
So even if you're just lying and Gomez really isn't competition, have a go. Put him in there, drop him for a Champions League game, mate, and say, do you like that? Sit on the bench, mate, see how you feel about that. Do you reckon you can get a bit more concentration out of you moving forwards? Yeah. And again, play your right back at right back. Play your midfielders in midfield. Go from there.
I think the other thing that we probably need to do is tell Gakpo that Kerkez doesn't play for Bournemouth anymore.
Yeah.
Just the man, like that one moment where he overlapped and I know it was kind of like because I think did the ball break down, it comes back to Gakpo, and Kerkez is flying and he's really got nothing else to do but pass it to him. But it's like, look at that flying fullback. Stop.
The Gomez at right back thing, I think, does open that up a bit more for us for Kerkez as well.
Yeah. He's not
if Cody Gakpo doesn't pass it to him, mate.
Which is the problem. It's like TK on the left with Kerkez left back.
Yeah. Well, Robertson will come back in, do you think?
I would have thought so.
What was he doing for the 3rd goal, by the way?
Not a lot.
No.
It's the answer.
No. Yeah.
I would have thought he'd come back in there, to be honest. Unless you're desperate for him to start at West Ham at the weekend, which is feasible.
Yeah. We used to do this thing, didn't we, where we decide what was the biggest game of the week and we kind of went backwards from there. But now they're both huge games. But equally, I don't know what our best 11 is. So we're still in a world of like, should we try this? Should we try that? We don't know, pick your poison at left back.
Ekatike and Dom Szoboszlai in midfield.
Let's extend that. Do you want to see Chiesa start the game?
I want to see Chiesa play more football for Liverpool, but I've honestly got no idea where I would play him at this point.
I also don't think it will ever happen either.
So I think there's conversation around left wing for him.
I just don't think Slot season is a win.
Exactly.
Fuck, we've got too many lads who play there now. None of them are really. I don't know. I don't even know what we're looking for anymore from that. He clearly loves Gakpo. He clearly loves Gakpo.
He frustrates the living daylights out of me, Cody Gakpo.
Cody Gakpo's fine, isn't he? He's fine. And he's better than fine, to be honest. A bit disrespectful. I think he's good. But he's not
when he's on it, he's so difficult to stop.
I just don't think he's going to be Liverpool. I don't think he's on a pathway to being Liverpool's best footballer.
I said
and if you want to be in that front 3 for Liverpool, then you should be having a healthy debate over who's our best player.
I had a couple of years ago on the podcast, I think I said I don't think Diaz is good enough to be our best player. And I think exactly the same about Cody Gakpo.
And Gakpo, I think Diaz was better than Gakpo, and that's the problem. is that Gakpo didn't win that shirt. It's fallen to him because we needed to move Diaz on. And look,
I mean, they were best.
play Rio and come on. You know, but again,
that's not going to happen.
But
I think they were good for each other, Diaz and Gakpo, in terms of that competition for places again,
exactly.
which now Gakpo doesn't have. Because whilst Rio is a talented kid, he's exactly that. He's a talented kid. He's a very talented kid. Also the point on him is you raised it earlier, like, because he hasn't been playing much, he really hasn't been playing much. Like, he doesn't get any football if he's not playing for Liverpool first team, which I think is a conversation in itself, personally.
But this is the thing, what we've done all that rotating, shit the bed, gone for a settled side, that's now not working. And then injuries have happened and we need to bring lads in, and now we're saying, well, Rio and Gamboa hasn't played lots of football and Gomez hasn't played, and fucking Butaro Endo doesn't get us, again, not that necessarily be clamouring to get him in, but Ramsey's now played one game of football for us, etc., etc.
Yeah. And the other thing is,
God,
well,
I'm sorry, this is fucking
if
dire, this, isn't it?
If Ekatike is part of the thing from the left-hand side, what's your plan with Wirtz?
Yeah.
Because it looks like your plan with Wirtz is to play him off the left-hand side at times. And then all of a sudden you've got three there. Two of them you've brought, well, that's a £250 million worth of left winger there.
I struggle to believe the plan with this.
It wasn't. It can't have been.
Really can't believe that, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
And you might need a different type of midfielder to allow Wirtz to play where you want him to play.
Agreed.
And that is crazy.
I hate this conversation.
It's like...
Because to the point I half scolded you for before, what's the first player that comes to your mind when you start thinking about talking about players to unlock, buying different players to unlock a player? I'm just going, oh my God, it's Paul Pogba all over again. It's like, if you're good enough, and then we go, well, if you're good enough, you should be able to do it. But it's right. You know, if you have a number 10, if you want a free-flowing number 10, Man City, Kevin De Bruyne could go wherever he wanted to, because they've always had the best defensive midfielder in the world playing in there. And no shock that City's struggles last season came without Rodri, because he's a one-man island, a complete midfielder who you can just leave him in front of the defence and he makes everything else in front of him. Fabinho at the peak of his powers was that for us as well. But no one else can do that, because ultimately everyone else wants to be where Wirtz is, sneakily, you know. It's a fucking mess. Oh my God, this is just fucking. So, Alisson will be in goal. Robertson left back. Yes, no.
Don't give a shit.
But that wasn't an option.
PSV.
Yeah, for PSV.
Who?
I think so.
Okay.
But,
Van Dijk.
yeah. Joe Gomez. Give me Joe Gomez.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai. Jones.
Calvin he's not
Ramsey.
available, is he? What is he?
Ramsey, I don't know if he's in that squad or not.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Oh, that would be fucking perfect, wouldn't it? So Szoboszlai right back again.
Yeah.
I would play Jones, Mailer.
Okay,
I think
Jones
the manager will go
right
Szoboszlai.
Okay. Gravenberch, McAllister, the other one. Gakpo.
I just want
Isak, Salah.
Ekatike and Isak together.
I'm going to say Chiesa. I can see Chiesa.
Give over.
What have you got in there?
I tell you that.
Athletics class, lad.
Cheers, Beer 52.
Okay, let us know your 11 in the comments section of this one, please, everyone. Normally we come to some sort of happy equilibrium for stuff. We had a few more super chats.
Sorry, it does say a lot if Konate doesn't get in the side though, because you see I don't know what minute you pulled him on, but then to
55.
not start as well, that's huge.
That's a message.
I'd enjoy that message.
But it goes back to, is he pulled because he wasn't playing well, or was he pulled because he was throwing attacking players on the pitch?
A little bit both.
Maybe. Imi back again. If Slot had to
for
go,
that corner, to be honest, that was
ridiculous.
The
goal didn't need to happen.
Just the goal, he's right there, mate.
Well, no, he was about 40 yards away from the. Oh, mate, what's he done? Just stumbled into the ball. Anyway.
if Slot had to go, would you take Gerrard as interim to the end of the season, then approach Tuchel? No.
Oh no, that last bit.
Not the last bit. Not the last bit.
You were so into it.
I was in until
He'd done like
a little point and everything.
Yeah.
Couldn't deal with Thomas Tuchel's on.
Can I just to be, play devil's advocate here? Be great to take if the England fans end up liking him, to then take him. Would be great, wouldn't it? But
not great enough.
Okay.
No. And the Invaders back says, could we not do 4-4-2? We could if it was 1998. This goes back to my fucking thing about the plan. I'm sorry, but if his plan is to play 2 up front, then it's fucking doomed to failure. If his plan is to play 4-2-3-1, it's doomed to failure because elite football teams do not play those formations. Sorry, that's it. Play 4-3-3, find a way to get 4-3-3 working. I mean, look, Man City have bought Ryan Cherky. They don't play him in the 10. They've now started to play him on the right. And we'll see how that evolves, you know, because he's new to the league and that can change for him. It's not like Kevin De Bruyne was always a free-flowing number 10. He's played, you know, in a variety of positions, but I'm not having the 4-4-2 thing. Like and then people 4-4-2 diamond. We've done it. It's like these things are great as like shock and awe tactics. Catch someone flat-footed, but when they stop and think about it, it's like, oh, we'll just play down the wings instead. All the best. Yeah. You know, we'll absolutely ruin your fullbacks because you've got no one in front of them to cover them. Great, cool. It's just, this is bad, isn't it? This is really bad.
Great.
This is really bad.
Considering that, like, I think you're supposed to be the really positive one, and
no.
actually, I think we might be slightly more positive at this moment in time, and I don't get how that's happened.
Like that's an issue that for us.
Just doesn't need to be perfect at this point, but you need to believe that it's on a pathway to something. And look, if Alexander Isak
shouldn't be singing in videos anymore, really.
Yeah, if he scores a couple of goals, then you can go, cool, that's what we've done. If Vert can get in and get a couple of assists and a goal, you go, oh, cool, that this is the thing. But when it's not working, it feels like nothing will ever work again. But it will. It will be better than this. It just will. Liverpool will eventually win a few more games because we did it through the week. It's definitely possible. Yeah. Remember that?
7 weeks.
Yeah. I know. But yeah, it's possible. We've seen we can win football matches. They just need to do it more often. Don't think I'm asking a lot. Thanks everyone for tuning in, for all the super chats. That's great. And if you want more from us, for whatever reason, we are over on redmenplus.com. We're going to be doing the biased football show over there.
The show we normally laugh at our rivals about.
We can assure you that it'll be quick and painful.
Wait, what?
It'll be a quick show and it'll be very painful.
No, wait, that's not. You were meant to step in with a real, like, this is how I'm going to sell this one. Chloe's let us down big time there. It'll be good fun anyway. We're going to talk about the other things going on in the league. So join us on redmenplus.com for that show, please. And thank you. Bye.